Thanks to the support as a channel member, Ollie Gunnar Kvam. Here we go then, folks. Make or break time. Can we avoid relegation? It would be nice to have a season that ends well. It's been a while. Hello, welcome to Club 4, Part 5 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we've got, I was going to do the final two games of the season, West Ham and Tottenham, but it occurs to me we can actually secure safety against Leicester, and I'd hate for you to miss that. So we're going to do Leicester and West Ham. I'm going to be confident, in the very unlikely event we still haven't secured survival by Tottenham. We'll show Tottenham as well, but I'm assuming at this point it'll be done by them because we are 3 points clear of the relegation zone. Southampton, who are below us, have played one extra game as well. We've got a much better goal difference than Watford, and both Watford and Southampton have much harder run-ins than we do. So I would like to think even if we mess up all three of these games, we'll probably be okay. They always say 40 points is the target. We're on 37. If we can win one of these final three games, we should definitely be safe. But I'd like to think we could secure it here against Leicester, who haven't had the best of seasons themselves. And actually, despite how poor our first half of the season was, or our first two-thirds of the season even, Leicester are actually only 9 points ahead of us in the Premier League. It is a winnable game. So let's go and win it and secure our survival. This is the team we're putting out there to do it. It's very familiar to us all by now. This is our first 11. And we've got Hoy and Harl in goal, a back four of Sessegnon, Mateus, Knoll and Wagyu. Zamorano in front of the back four with Zanelli and Walsh ahead of him. De Luca then in behind Alvarez and Casolari as the front two. Zamorano is going to be an interesting one because as part of his loan, we do have an optional future fee of £22 million. Now, he has been a very, very good player for us, and I would definitely like to keep him around. I don't know if I want to spend £22 million on him. Let me know down in the comments. Assuming we stay up, are you spending the £22 million on Zamorano, knowing that it's pretty much our entire transfer budget would go on that one player? Now, obviously, there'll be players that get sold as well. It won't be the only transfer we do, but what would you do? Let me know down in the comments section. Let's get into the match, though. Let's secure Premier League survival. I said before it'd be nice to have a season end well. Of course, last season with Schalke ended pretty well. We ended up finishing almost in the European qualification spots in the Bundesliga. The season before ended quite well with promotion to the Premier League with Peterborough. So actually, my seasons do tend to end well. It's starting terribly, which has been a bit of a theme of the last few years. So I'd like to think we'll carry on our normal way of doing things. We'll end strong and then probably start next season really poorly. I imagine that's what's going to happen. But that sounds a lot like a problem for future Kev. Current Kev is all concerned about winning this match against Leicester. Alvarez is playing Casolari and he's in behind the defenders here. It was a lovely first touch to take that centre-back out of the action completely, leaving him with the only option to foul him or leave him to it, but then unfortunately wasn't able to apply the finish, and it's a corner. And it's going to be De Luca on this far side, trying to slot Alvarez in. It was a very poor attempt at a short corner. I don't know why I persist with those because they always look rubbish. I think part of the theory behind the short corner is the hangover from when near post corners were so overpowered in FM22. I liked to have the short corner on there as like a balancing agent, whereas now corners in general are much less effective. I probably don't need to have the really effective short corner on there to balance things out, because as you've just seen there, more often than not, it ends up with us giving the ball away, or at least half the time being offside because the players are idiots and don't understand how to stay onside from a short corner. This is lovely football, though. Zanelli is in and he can't apply the finish. It's another corner for us. Hopefully not another short corner. Let's stick it into the near post. It looks like we're actually going far post. That's where the big boys have lined up. We are aiming at the far post. Knoll is there, but he can't keep his header down, and it remains 0-0. We've certainly started brighter of the two teams, though. He says match stats confirm we've been absolutely identical. But I've got the Norwich bias now. And Leicester have got a corner of their own, but Hoy and Harl is there as ever. Safe hands himself. I feel so much more confident with him in the team. He's signing of the series. He's not going to get beaten. He'll be beaten for goals today, probably. Let's not get that carried out. Casolari's in again. And it's wasteful again from, I tell you what, Alvarez he is Juan Jose. If you watch the homegrown series last year, Juan Jose playing in this deep lying forward role was one of my favourite players of the entire series. Alvarez is that. It's such a shame he's 30 and we're not going to be able to get him doing this for the next 3 or 4 years. But he really is creating some chances. If we had a prolific goal scorer ahead of him, we'd be top half of the table comfortably. But I don't know if Casolari is ever going to be that man. Obviously, at the moment, he doesn't speak the language. He is still young. There's more to come from Casolari. He has his moments where he looks really good. But he has more moments where he gets in a good position like that and then just completely blows it and doesn't even test the goalkeeper. So watch this space. If a good striker becomes available in the summer, you can be sure that I will be paying attention to that situation. Right, Sessegnon playing it all the way back to Hoyenhal, and now Mateus to Noll and Zamorano. And look at this. We play nice football now. So that's my favourite thing about how this team has developed over the time we've been here, because we're now a nice footballing team. I got a little bit of heat in the comment section for bringing in my little tippy-tappy central midfielders who can't tackle. And I know it's not ideal. What a goal from Casolari. I tell you what, I said he has his glimmers of brilliance. That was Marco van Basten right there. That was insane. Just have a look at that from the other angle. This ball stayed hit. You can be sure of that. Sessegnon with the ball across. What a hit from Casolari. Blimey. 1-0 to Norwich. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Nice tippy-tappy midfielders. What a goal. There we go. Leicester 0, Norwich 1. As it stands, this will be enough. We'll be safe with this as a result. So if we can keep this going, that'd be super. There's your... I was hoping to show you the confirmation, but the confirmation wasn't there. The thing disappeared. DeLuca's now in behind. Surely, what's their goalkeeper doing? What did DeLuca do? There was 2 pieces of incompetence there. DeLuca had an open goal, but decided to try and round the goalkeeper on the other side. What is he thinking? He just needs to sneeze at the football there, and it ends up in the back of the net. Their goalkeeper had an absolute nightmare, and somehow it's still only 1-0. Noll heads clear, looking for Walsh, but can't find him. And now Noll is there again, and Hoyenhal lumps it clear, looking for Casolari. Alvarez has got the break on here. Another beautiful ball for Casolari, who's 1-on-1 with the keeper again. He rounds him, and this time, there you go. He needs to run over, as part of this celebration, run over to DeLuca and say, "Oi, idiot, come here. This is how you round a goalkeeper. This is how you put the ball into an open goal." Because this is what DeLuca should have done the first time. I tell you what, as a front two, these are starting to look very good. Forget bringing in a striker. Casolari is, he's all right, isn't he? I've changed my tune on him completely. Alvarez is pulling all the strings. It's going to be a shame when he's too old to get the job done. But I'm going to try and convince myself that despite him being 30, he can do another year for us. Watch me replace him this summer. I talk a good game now. I won't be able to resist replacing the old man. But right now, I need to write a note and stick it to the monitor or something, a little post-it note on there saying, Alvarez is not too old. He is your best player. Words to that effect, because these little through balls that he's been playing to Casolari, goodness me. Right, hour gone. We have been comfortably the better team here. There's your confirmation. It's not actually mathematically complete, is it? It's as good as there. It's a 6-point gap and a 21 goal gap. It won't actually be mathematically confirmed if things stay as they are. But I think we're safe to say we are as good as safe, as long as we don't throw this away from this very strong position that we find ourselves in right now. We're going to take off DeLuca, and Haruna can come on for him. Zanelli can go forward. Zamorano can go forward. That's a fairly typical change that we're doing. I mean, you can see there's certainly areas of this squad that do need updating and need a bit of strength and depth. We don't really have any backup fullbacks. We'll have Kante back, but we still need one more. We don't really have an attacking midfielder. DeLuca's a striker playing there. If we got an injury to him or either of the strikers, we wouldn't be able to play this system anymore. So there is stuff that we definitely need to strengthen, which does make me think throwing silly money at Zamorano is probably a bad idea. But then I look at Luis Fernando and think, well, if I could swap him, who's worth 21 to 25 million, if I could swap him for Zamorano, I absolutely would. Now, I imagine I won't be in a position to do that. I doubt Manchester City are going to want a 30-year-old winger who can't get into Norwich's team. But if we sell him for 25 and buy Zamorano for 22, I think I'm on board with that, because that then leaves us another 21, 22 to spend on filling these other gaps. And then I think we've got a good upper mid-table squad. Because I think if we lose Zamorano, we do lose we lose a lot from the team. We then have to replace almost 2 positions because he can do that Mazzala role. He can do the deep lying playmaker role. And I'd be surprised to find someone who could do them both as well as he does if we lose him. Oh, it's going to be a very interesting transfer window. I'm determined not to balls it up this time. I don't think I ballsed up either the last 2. The fact that we keep going back and looking at players that we've signed in the last 2 years from Peter and Schalke shows they were good players. We would just maybe had, I mean, forget maybe, we definitely had lesser squads to work with from the beginning. The fact we've been able to have someone like Alvarez become a key part of this team, and Sessegnon and Wagyu, we didn't really have those really good key players, certainly at Peterborough. But that is the win. It's saying there we've avoided relegation. Did something happen that I wasn't aware of? I don't understand. To me, I guess okay, I'm not going to argue with it. If you're saying we've avoided relegation, then we've avoided relegation. We've ensured survival. I don't understand how we have mathematically there. Unless it's Southampton and Watford can't both catch us. That's what it is. Watford could catch us, but Southampton can't. There we go. We have secured survival. Excellent stuff. This is Casolari, who I was raving about in that game. I guess, I mean, what's he missing, really? Finishing. I mean, we see that. Could that improve? How likely is that to improve enough for him to be the one that we want? Let's play one more game, shall we? Well, I figured as we were safe, I should probably just show you the last game of the season. So we played West Ham off camera, beat them 4-0. Look at this turn of form since, I mean, you could even say from February, because we had that great couple of matches against Everton and Man United, but really since March, the time of the year we said would be important. And we only lost 2 games so far. We have got to play Tottenham. As it stands right now, we could still finish. Oh, we can't. Straight after the last game, we could have still finished level on points with Liverpool. We can't now, but we could finish above Leicester. We could still be as high as 13th place, which would be insane. Tottenham are not going to get in the Champions League doing Tottenham things, so they've got nothing to really play for. If we could beat them, that would be super duper. I think the only change from the last game is Sliz coming in for Zamorano, who's not fully fit. I think that was the last one you saw. It's certainly the only change since the West Ham game. But then I think it was the team you saw. I think we're pretty much doing the same team week in, week out, unless we have to change, like we've got to change today. But I'd like to get Zamorano on to say goodbye, because the more I think about it, the more I struggle to justify £22 million as one lump. If we could do 22 million with a bunch of it on the Never Never, give them like 6 million now and spread the rest out, I'm on board with that. I don't think I can just hand my entire transfer budget over for a defensive midfielder. It just doesn't sit well with me. That's lovely goalkeeping work from Hoy and Hall again. What a man he is. He was 16 million as a lump. So maybe if the player is good enough, a lump sum is okay. Maybe I should just throw the money at Zamora. I don't know what to do. Hopefully you lot have already helped me down in the comments section. If you haven't, get in there now. I really need the help. Asa Walsh with a lovely tackle there. People telling me Walsh can't tackle. There's your proof there that he can. He is a proper box-to-box midfielder. He can do it all. Asa Walsh is going to be England captain. Probably not England captain. I feel like he might get called up to England at some point. In other potential transfer news, I know I said just a few minutes ago that Alvarez is fine for years. Just notice he's wanted by AC Milan and his value range is, I think, 55 to 60 million. And as much as I feel like we should keep him, at the same time, if I can get £60 million for a 30-year-old, everyone knows where that's going, surely. This is unfortunate, what we've just seen happen here. Our defenders not really able to keep... They've basically done to us what we've done to a lot of other teams lately. In fact, they are playing the same system as us. So it's interesting. This little diamond, you do get all these nice little neat passes around in the central midfield that we've been ruining people with, and they've just done it right back to us there. So we are still a little bit vulnerable to teams trying to do us our own thing. And we saw it there, and they are closing us down nicely as well. I want to know who the Tottenham manager is. They're copying me. They've stolen my system, and it seems to be working quite well for them. Wagyu with the ball forward, but it doesn't get anywhere. I'm losing my voice. Where's my beverage? So unprofessional, sipping a beverage during the video. I was losing my voice otherwise. Right, Spurs with the corner. Hoyenhal was a little bit all over the place there. He didn't come for it, but also he didn't stay on his line waiting for the follow-up shot. He was kind of dancing around inside the 6-yard box. Luckily, the shot never came in, but that's the first time I've seen him look a little bit flappy since he's been here. They're in again here, and they've scored again here, and clearly, when other teams are playing wide and we fill the middle up, we can beat them. If a team does what we're doing and plays the diamond in the middle, usually with better quality players, they're just doing what we do better than we do it. But I wonder if we should maybe try and counter it and go to a system with some wide players. The only problem is we're then going to hand even more control of the middle over to them. And we've seen time and time again now just how dominant that can be. It's almost as I suspect we all know that when FM22 first came out, that crosses and far post heading was majorly overpowered. I feel like they've almost gone the other way with some of the recent updates and have made it so that systems with wide players in are now less effective. It's why the diamond and the 4-3-1-2 seem to be so effective at the moment. So I feel like going to something like a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 and trying to get wide of them is just going to give them even more space to ruin us in the middle the way they already are. We just need to hope other teams don't figure that out and start playing with diamonds as well, because we have been utterly outclassed in that first half. We've got to change it, but I suspect it's not going to do us much good. DeLuca can play on the left, can't he? Alvarez can play on either side, so we'll just have Alvarez doing that. Yeah, I mean the same players can just switch around and play this system as well. But I don't know. If this works, then I've tied myself up in knots, second guessing myself. We had to do something different because they were just absolutely controlling the middle of the pitch. I don't know how effective our wide men are going to be in changing that in this second half, mainly because we don't really have any proper out and out wide men. We have got, what's his name? Luis Fernando on the bench, who we could probably bring on. We'll bring him on after this move, actually. Let him have one more run out in a Norwich shirt, but he's going to be moving on because I think we are probably moving away from playing any kind of system with wide players. So let's DeLuca's been terrible. Aurelio can come on for him on this side, and Alvarez is tired. So Fernando, where is he? He can come on this side. Need to stay a little bit wider now because they're proper wide players. And then we'll bring on Zamorano as well for a final appearance, potentially in a Norwich shirt. This has been a disappointing final day of the season. Can we have a goal now, please? I want Aurelio to look brilliant. I want to be able to sell him this summer because, again, it's all well and good having a great Brazilian young player, but he can only play out wide. And if we are committing to the diamond, which I think we have to, after how effective it's been this season, we're going to be selling all of these wingers this summer and using that money to reinvest in attacking midfielders and defensive midfielders and strikers and just trying to fill up the areas of the squad where we don't have much strength in depth currently. Wagyu with the cross to Casolari, and there's another example of just him being really wild with his shooting. Sometimes he scores an absolute worldie like we saw in the last match, and sometimes he just swings his foot at it and nothing really happens. We need to work on his consistency of his finishing, but it is his weakest attribute, so I suspect it's always going to be a little bit of an issue for him. I mean, I guess we settled things down a little bit in that second half. Maybe we should have made that change a little sooner, but shows that we're still quite capable of getting an absolute pasting at any moment, and we don't necessarily know when it's coming. But you know what? I would consider that a roaring success. We came in 9 games, I think, into this season, rock bottom of the Premier League, only 3 points on the board. We've added 40 points in 29 games, which is not too shabby. It's comfortable surviving. They're 8 points clear of Southampton. We've survived comfortably, and I think Posh have come up as well, which is even more exciting. We are going to be joined back in the Premier League next year by Peterborough United. I feel like that vindicates my transfers that we did with them. I said all along The transfer window we did when we came into the Premier League was all about coming straight back up again automatically after we get relegated. And even without me there to follow it through, that's exactly what's happened. Brewster banging in the goals in the Championship again. Learn from the mistakes. Sell him now while he's got value, because he's not going to do it in the Premier League next year at 31 years old. But that's nice to see. Let's check in on Schalke as well. I reckon Schalke should be pushing for European spots. They were never in fear of getting relegated. I think Schalke should be doing better than that. I think that's a slight underperformance there from Schalke. And then Leamington, hopefully, have stayed in the Football League again. They have a comfortable survival for Leamington, who I think probably still have Theodros knocking around in their team as well. There he is, look, Amari Theodros. If you want to see more of him, you should be watching the Twitch series where we're carrying on playing with Leamington. Or, of course, you have the highlights of the Twitch videos, the Twitch streams over on LOLLUJO too. We've got all the highlights from those streams over there. Look at all those goals he scores. He never does that for me. But we will end this video there. Tomorrow is transfers o'clock, and I'm very, very excited. Many, many plans. So make sure you're back for that. And if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.